On the next episode of the Level Par podcast, we speak with Sean Melia. Sean is a content creator here in Massachusetts who runs the Baystate golf page. If there's anything you need to know about golf in Massachusetts, Sean has his finger on the pulse. I hope you enjoy the conversation, and please, if you like our podcast, please like and subscribe on YouTube and on Spotify. All right, Sean, thank you for coming. Thank you for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. You and I got connected through Instagram, and you've grown Baystate Golf into basically a knowledge center for people here in Massachusetts of like where they should go play golf and really all things golf here in the state. I wanted to get a sense of like where you kind of get the idea and where you started this venture.
Yeah, so well, thanks for having me. This is awesome to do one in person too. This is very cool, not staring at a computer screen at a face. So I guess the idea initially came, I was a teacher, I was telling you before we kind of hit record, until 2019, so 13 years I was in a classroom, and I left in 2019. It was the fall of 2019 was the first time since I was 4 that I didn't have to go to school in September. Took a couple road trips, played some golf just in the state. Went out to Crump and Fox. I live in Boston, so hour and a half, 2 hour drive out to play golf in the fall was amazing. Winter comes around, I do start reading some books. I've read a course called Ireland by Tom Coyne. Course called America came out that spring, where he went around and tried to play every course that's hosted in the US Open. Read a few other books. James Dodson wrote a book called Range Bucket List, where he found a bucket list that he made when he was like, I think 12. In his attic, I think, going through some stuff in his old house, came across it and read it and said, oh, these are things I'm going to try to do some of the things that I wanted to do when I was 12 around golf. Yeah. So this was where the idea kind of started, just reading some books in the winter. And then COVID hit 2020 of March, and couldn't play golf at all in Massachusetts. So the idea just kind of percolated, and in May I just decided, I'm not a member anywhere. You can get to most of the state in a day. Yeah. So I said, I'm going to see if I can just kind of slowly check off as many golf courses as I can, and started in June of 2020. I played Thorny Lee with a college buddy of mine. Great course. And that's kind of where it started. And I tell people it started as a very selfish endeavor. It was just a thing I thought would be fun to do. Didn't know what it would end up becoming. And then over the first couple years, realizing like, you kind of said it, I'm kind of gathering all this knowledge about golf courses in parts of the state that I'd never been to, that people might have never heard of. Started posting on Instagram reviews and photos, and kind of slowly just gathered a crowd of people who just are
the loyalists. The first. Do you remember who like your first group of followers were? Like, do you have did you end up like playing golf with some of these guys and men and women like early on, or what? How did you kind of get on some of these courses?
A lot of them were. A lot of the beginning stuff was friends. Yeah. I played in high school. I played in college. And just have the Metro West area. I grew up in Acton, so I just kind of started playing those places. And Baystate Golf wasn't the actual name of the account until a couple years after. I actually started it was called Stay Home Husband. Okay. After I quit teaching, I thought for a year I'll just kind of track what life is like as a guy who quits his job and has no kids, is married, and so that's kind of what it started as. And I started playing more golf, and my buddies were like, "You can't call it that anymore."
Think like strategically on like what you want to do with this thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of turned into, well, you got to have golf in there somehow, versus just this kind of stay home husband thing. I don't know if there's people who have reached out and at the early stages. I have a guy I've befriended who just kind of looks through all the different auctions and will reach out and be like, hey, there's an auction that I won. If you want to go play, I've got this spot we can go play, and I'll pay my 1/4 of the auction if I want to go do it. So there's been people who've kind of reached out that way and just invited me to come play a place, or just have met me at a public golf course to play a round of golf.
That's amazing. Are you recognized when you go like places now? I mean, are people like, oh, dude, there's Sean. Like, we got to get him out to this course. Or do you have people hitting you up on the DMs and be like, hey, you got to come try my place or this course or come play in this tournament? Like, is that kind of the way that you're almost, getting some of these inquiries kind of sent your way now?
Yeah, people will reach out on Instagram
Yeah.
and invite me to come play a place. And, then, so sometimes I'm able to, sometimes I'm not, sometimes they're far away.
Yeah.
But yeah, so people reach out that way. I get, people might know who I am when we're playing. I played in the Bass, was it the Pub Links last year?
Okay, yeah, sure.
It's qualifier, and the guy I was playing with saw my name and he was like, oh yeah, I knew who I was playing with before I showed up, which was a little bit unnerving.
Yeah.
To meet someone like that on the first tee. But so that's, yeah, I mean.
So what's your index?
I'm a 4.5.
Okay, so you're playing at that almost like the mid-am. Is it mid-am? Is mid-am 4 to 7? What is
mid-am is, I think it's a little lower.
Is it lower now?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're at least like trying to compete in some of these MGA. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great. And it's really nice that you got name recognition too. So
Yeah.
It's also probably a good way to like meet people and like try and find these stories that you're trying to work with. And I've seen your page, and I think a lot of people have. You have a ton of followers. But what are you kind of looking for when you're trying to find a story to cover on your page? I know that most recently, Brooks the Koepka thing, like you kind of went a little viral for that. But for the most part, you're trying to find locations and golf courses and stories within the state, to highlight and to talk about. Like, what's your process for that?
Oh man. That's a good question. I mean, I guess I have time to think about these things, and a lot of the stuff comes from people actually sometimes reaching out and asking me about places to play or trips they're planning.
Yeah.
I hear from a lot of guys who are like, I've got a trip with a bunch of buddies, and we're going to be in this part of the state. Where should I play? I think a lot about value. I think there's so many golfers out there who don't have like $150 to spend on every round of golf.
Right. Right.
I just did a video last week about like, here are the places you could if you want to splurge, but understanding like that's a very special thing for a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to do a lot of public golf stuff. I hear from a lot of people when I do private stuff, like they don't really love it. They feel like it kind of puts them. They feel like they're on
like
the outside looking in.
So
they can't play it.
Why
am I going to bother watching unless it's just for the eye candy of a place? So thinking about different parts of the state. So, I've done stuff about like outside of 495.
Yep.
Stuff on the Cape, south of the city, north of the city. And then looking at prices and thinking about value and budgets and what people are looking for. I have a system where I don't do rankings. Rankings are tough when I've played. Like some places I played one time 6 years ago.
Right.
So sitting down and putting them in a ranking doesn't feel fair.
Unless you've like taken extensive notes as you're playing that course.
Yeah.
And then
you don't know what a place is like 6 years later.
Exactly.
It could be better. I'm one person who played it
or
one
like maybe
time.
they lost a green 3 years in, and now like you make the ranking, and then someone's like, hey, did you know that they're basically a 17-hole golf course right now? So like, why is it up there in that thing? So,
So I created, I use restaurants as my tiering system.
Nice.
So I go from like dive bars up to the Michelin star, and the public and private are all in that mix, but just giving people a sense of like when you go to a restaurant, you're in a mood for something, kind of what you're getting. I think golf courses are a lot of the same, and so if you're looking for a place that's like the 99 or at Applebee's, like these are the golf courses that are like that. If you're looking for something that's more, you got some friends in town and you want to take them to a place that's outside of the neighborhood you live in. There's like, I've got a tavern tier, I've got a neighborhood joint tier, farm to table restaurant, steakhouse. So trying to give people a sense. So that also just helps me in my mind organize, like, what am I going to make this week?
Yeah, no, it's great. There are so many different places where you could go get a golf trip into. Like, I've been down to the Cape. I grew up down here. I grew up on the South Shore. So if I'm going to go play, I usually go play the Cape, or I play around here in Plymouth. But you can. I've done New Hampshire trips, all these different places. Like, we kind of don't get talked about a lot as Massachusetts as like a hotbed of golf because of the fact that there's 30 inches of snow outside. But
Yeah.
when the golf season is here, like we're a very strong representative for golf courses in the country, and I think a lot of people need to probably know more about that the fact that we can stack up against a lot of different states.
Yeah, for sure. Public golf is pretty good, and there's a lot of like if you're looking for older stuff, you can you can go play a Donald Ross public golf course.
Yes, exactly. Right.
They're in the States. And you can play something that's on the newer side that's, like Brian Silva has a bunch of golf courses here. People like Mark Munjum. There's a bunch of golf courses that are newer-ish. I mean, we're up, I think it's been like 16 or 17 years since we've had a new golf course built in Massachusetts, which is kind of wild.
Interesting. You get out of Florida, they're putting a new one in.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of places to put them.
I keep looking at Stream Song as the new silver one. I was there in April. It's been like eye candy for me as that silver gets built. I'm like, I need to go back down.
Yeah.
That place is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But there are places like this here. I mean, like think about Pine Hills when it first came in. When I lived down here, like Indian Pond came in when I was a senior in high school, and then Crosswinds had just kind of opened. So 25 years ago, the seeds of what is now like even just South Shore golf is changed. So that's kind of an interesting stat. You said that 16 years we haven't had a new golf course.
Yeah,
built.
and that's out in Western Mass. Cold Springs is the last new public golf course that's been built.
Like, how would you label like the International as one that went through a revamping? Because didn't they close for a little while, like, and now they're kind of back, or?
It's private.
Yeah.
But so I guess that's the newest golf course. Yeah. But it's also built on top of an old golf course.
Sure, of course, yeah.
Kind of wild.
But I was just like trying to think in my head of like what's been the newest thing.
Yeah.
But I know that International had that like closing for a little while, and they reopened, and did they just host like a live event as well too?
They hosted a live event in 23
Yeah.
On the Oaks course. They got 36 holes there.
Yeah.
But the Pines, Corin Crenshaw just redid it. I got to play it in August. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think there's such a miss too with the fact that we don't have a PGA Tour event coming through this area. As we talked before, like I was with the Boston Herald for 7 years, and I covered the golf scene. And when the Deutsche Bank came through, like that was my beat to cover, and it was such a great take. Like I will still never forget the fact that I walked 18 holes inside the ropes with Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
And so like it is the mecca of my golf coverage, and I always wanted to get to the Masters, but I couldn't like get to. We had a couple of reporters that were ahead of me on the pecking order, and I couldn't get in there. But yeah, no, I would love to see an event like that. I know we have the LPGA that came back to TPC Boston, but like, to get the PGA Tour back in this area would mean a lot to what we have to offer. Do you feel the same way?
I do. Yeah, for sure. I think International is a place that could possibly be a spot that could host something like that. TPC Boston would have to maybe, I don't know how that would work with
I don't know what happened.
Here.
I mean, I think it was a sponsorship thing where they lost the Deutsche Bank, and then
and then became the Northern Trust, and it was Adele for a bit, but then like they started alternating between here and Liberty National.
Yes.
And then it just kind of fizzled.
Yeah, I think also like they're trying to figure out how to stay away from the NFL as much as possible, and like so there'll be other changes that'll happen, and if they come back to Mass, like I'd be all for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the seniors came to, was it Salem? I think like 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, 17.
Because I covered that one too, and I remember Tom Lehman was there, so I walked up to him. I'm like, Tom Lehman, I'm also Tom Lehman. Nice to meet you. I should have got a picture with him. I should have broke the code of being a journalist and got a picture. But no, I mean, when you see this high level of golf kind of coming to our area, it's really cool to be a part of. But I mean, even the Mass Golf Association events have become a staple of what people want to play. Like, look at who's come out of those tournaments. Like Michael Thorne Bjornsson, like Megan Kang. Like we have representation in a lot of different places. So Mass Golf has a standing in the golf world.
Yeah, there's 2 kids from Massachusetts on the Vanderbilt team. They're number 5 in the country right now.
Which is crazy.
I mean, John Broderick and Ryan Downs, 2 kids who are playing at the top level of college golf.
Yeah. So we need more of it. We need more.
And the Smith sisters, right?
Sure. Yeah. And they're they're killing it.
Yeah.
They're doing great. I work. I've done some video work with Kevin Duffy up in the North Shore. I think that the Smith sisters have worked with him in some kind of capacity.
Yep.
So, but yeah, no, it's really interesting to see, and I'd love to continue to see. I mean, it was really a bummer when Michael couldn't pull through at the Waste Management.
I know.
But like, what an event that would have been if he won it on the same day the Pats won the Super Bowl. Like,
I know.
we had a really bad day as a Boston sports fan.
It was tough.
Like,
I went to that Celtics Knicks game.
Oh God,
too.
man! Were you at the game last night?
I was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank God. Celtics are playing great. I love that you're a big C's fan too. So, but so you were a teacher for a long time. What grades did you teach? But also, did you have a subject that you were more like teaching at the time?
Yeah, I knew I like teaching was the thing. I worked at summer camps through high school, through college, and got a job at a school called Shore Country Day up in Beverly, right out of college as a TA. I did that for 2 years in 3rd and 4th grade. So I got to, actually it was great. I got to be with the same kids for 2 full years, which is pretty cool. And those kids are all like, in their late 20s now.
That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. So this is like 2006.
Yeah.
And
you're gonna see this video and be like, I was a teacher. Like,
yeah. I've had former students find me on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wild. Who are like
at least you have that separation now where you can be like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'm just a human now. I'm not just a teacher.
So I taught 4th grade for 8 of those years. And then I moved up and taught 6th grade English in the same school. It was a K-9 school. And I was dean of students for those last few years too. So nice. I kind of moved up, taught one section of 6th grade, and ran around and told kids what they were doing wrong for the rest of the day, which is really kind of what like made me want to get out of education.
I mean, sometimes the higher you get up places, like it doesn't really match.
Yep, it beat me up pretty good.
I mean, you can burn out really quickly. And I think about my time at the Herald, like if I could go back and just cover high school sports in the golf world, like I would have just, and if I could have made a living at it, easily would have done it. But as I got, you get into it to want to cover the Red Sox and the Patriots and all these things, but you go into these locker rooms and these guys have no interest in speaking to you.
Yeah.
And it comes with all these like red tape political stuff too. Like my last thing I was doing, I was supposed to cover Gronk's Twitter feed basically and be like, let us know what he's doing today. I'm like, this is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do at all. So like, I totally feel you on that. When you get up, it's like, I've reached the pinnacle. Why am I not happy with it?
Yeah.
So.
And the golf stuff, I feel like feels the same way where you get people who are like glad that you are there with I go to the mass golf stuff and they're like stoked to see someone there with a camera telling stories and writing, and that's that's part of the fun of it.
I'm pretty sure some of my old stories are hanging up in like coffee shops in some of the towns of like the places that won state championships, and that's what.
Yep.
I always wanted to be a storyteller, not a journalist.
Yeah.
And like once I realized that, it was a very much easy shift as I started to think about like where I wanted to go next.
Yeah.
And I'm still in the middle of it, but I mean,
and
you're probably in the middle of like not knowing where this thing's going to keep going.
Exactly.
Like we don't know what Instagram and social media is going to be forever, like long term, but you seem to be riding a wave that is really inspiring to see.
Yeah. And like that's what I find joy in finding those golf courses that people are stoked to like, oh man, this is the place I grew up playing. And no one knows about this place.
Yeah. Right.
And you found it and wrote a post about it. So it's kind of neat to.
And it brings people together.
Yeah.
Like I think I've had every person that I've talked to so far on this podcast, we've talked about the community that golf builds. And it seems like you've built such like a strong community, and you're helping represent people that might not have the time to do social media.
Yeah.
They might not have the time to put that thing out there, but if they have Baystate Golf coming to their course to show it off, there's some pride in that.
Yeah.
And is that like what gets you kind of going every single day?
Yeah. I like telling those stories. I like highlighting places. Even the places that I like didn't love playing. I try not to. Like I played Leo J. Martin this summer. The place was a complete disaster. But
worst golf course in the country?
Yeah, according to my Golf Spy and Google reviews.
Yes.
But like going there, and you can go to a golf course, and I think my experience playing there would have been different if I played by myself.
Sure.
I played with two guys who were both retired. One was 88 years old.
Yeah.
Rode a cart, paid $22 to ride a cart for 9 holes, which essentially means he paid $2 to play golf and $20 for the cart.
Yeah.
And like these two guys didn't know each other. The three of us were perfect strangers, and they were both like, this is the place that we can come and like walk around and meet people and get out of the house.
Yes. They don't care about the score.
Nope. They don't care that the greens
they're out in fresh air
look like a cow pasture.
Yeah.
They just want to play golf.
Did I see something that they're going to actually make an investment in the course?
Yeah, this is closed for this next year.
Yeah.
They're putting $5 million into it, and there's no irrigation, so they're putting irrigation in.
No, because it's a ski.
It is.
Because I actually, when I was a reporter, I did some stories on some cross country skiers who were practicing out of Leo J. Martin. And
I mean, everyone practices there. Teams, college teams.
Yes. I mean, they actually have a pretty solid group of like skiers that go through that area as well too. So
some Olympians have come through there.
For sure. So it's like, how do you tell them no? And then just because the golf course is open. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they don't want to be labeled as the worst golf course in the country.
No.
So, but no, that's those are just like little nuggets that you can continue to find out. But you've actually started a book of like. Tell me a little bit more about what your project is and where you want to kind of take it.
Yeah, so I've played 168 courses up to now, so I'm kind of at the halfway point. And I've written little reviews that go on Instagram with some pictures, and I started to house those on a website. And I kind of decided I needed to create something that was a little bit more like formulaic's not the right word, but just had a template to it that was digestible and people could kind of easily look through. And so I just decided to make a book that people can buy now, and over every year I'll update it with the new courses I've played in Massachusetts. So, hopefully by 2027 this time I'll be at, my goal is to kind of hit 200 by
what is
this
the
time
full number of courses that we have?
It's like 340 is about. So
just about almost like one per town. If you think
that's
about
exactly
it,
right. Yeah, I think there's a 350 towns.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen that too, and I thought the same thing. Like it's about one per town.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then
so
Plymouth,
it doesn't matter,
just
like
has a
private,
bunch.
public, anyone you've played, you've put together like into this almost like just a guidebook for people to go through Mass Golf.
Yeah, and so it's just alphabetically listed. I have when I played it, so you have a sense of like what I'm writing in the context of. And then I created some badges. So how walkable is it? Is it worth the drive? Is it close to Boston? Kind of just giving, is it open? Is it tight? Just giving people a sense of what it is. And then like a page of writing about each one that's broken into, I have a section called Long Story Short, which is basically like a very quick paragraph summary.
I love that, yeah.
What I liked, things that I didn't like, I call the rough edges. And then my favorite hole, and then a couple pictures.
Nice.
And so the goal is to so if people buy it now, they would at the end of this quest have my book with all of that stuff. And
so if they buy it, they'll be able to kind of...
They get the free update every year.
Free update every single year?
Yeah.
And that's fun for you.
Yeah.
Because you got a chance to go try 170 more courses, basically?
Yeah, because I'm just about halfway.
So if anyone's watching, call Sean. He'll like absolutely he'll get you on. So where can people find it, and where can people get more information about where they can see this book? Yeah,
so I have a newsletter, baystategolf.beehive.com. Beehive is HIIV.com, and it's just a product on the front page right now. You can subscribe to my newsletter. So I write a Friday newsletter.
Nice.
That kind of rounds up competitive golf from, like, I follow Thor, and I follow, you got Davis Chatfield, who's also he's from Attleboro.
Nice.
He's playing PGA Tour golf. I
Cool.
cover college golf. So that newsletter's in there as well. You can sign up for it, and I will definitely pester you in that newsletter to buy the book.
Yeah. Well, that's not pestering. That's called smart marketing.
Yep.
So.
And then you can follow me on Instagram. I've kind of been posting about it a little bit too, and we'll continue to. So
there is a power to this marketing / social media stuff, and I'm sure you've had to teach yourself, like, what avenues do I have to get the word out to places? It's something that, I mean, I've worked in marketing the last 7 years, and it's a little different now because I'm doing it for myself, and it's kind of fun. It's almost like it's a challenge every single day to be like, I got to wake up and I got to figure out, okay, well, what do I want to post? what do I want to focus on and who do I want to reach out to? And is that kind of how you're attacking this job as well too?
Yeah, and I find for me personally, like how many touches are too many touches?
Yeah, oh for sure.
The balance of I don't want to be the guy who's every time, because there's people on Instagram you start to follow and you're like, oh, you're just trying to sell me something all the time.
Yeah.
So that's a balance. And then, I kind of have a rhythm. And it's funny, the winter, I feel like I hit a better rhythm with this, even though I'm not playing any golf.
Sure. People are starved for golf content.
Yeah. And I have the time.
Yep.
I kind of tell myself, well, if I'm not playing 2 or 3 rounds a week, those hours need to go into making stuff.
Yeah.
But I can't, the stuff I'm creating is all based on what I did last year.
Sure, of course.
In the last 6 years.
Yeah.
But you start to hit a rhythm where like I've got a YouTube video I do every week, and like Sunday night, Monday morning, I kind of think about what do I want to do this week. I've got a list. I've got a huge list of, you have an endless list of ideas, and you look back and you look back and like, this isn't a good idea. Yeah. Maybe it'll be good later.
Yeah.
And then also just starting to find like little stories that pop up from past stuff. Like the Genesis was out in Riviera. It's like Riviera was designed by the same guy who designed Marion.
You just find you're doing journalism basically in a lot of ways. Like you're localizing stories, and you're, it's interesting. It's like, I love it. I love the fact that you can, all roads lead back to Massachusetts in some kind of way. Because I think we started here as a country, and it's just really interesting to see. How many stories there are out there and what you're bringing to life. So, kudos to you. And I'm with you on I've found it very difficult to figure out what is the balance to reach out to people. Cause I think you and I got connected and you're like, oh, sorry, this got lost in the shuffle of DMs. And I'm like, he's got 30,000 followers at this point. So
a little less,
A little less, but how many people are just hitting you up nonstop? So I felt like, okay, well, I'm only gonna do this one more time, and I'm gonna figure out if this is an avenue I can get into, because I just really wanted to get you the book, and then now that I find out you're an English major and a teacher, when you got a chance to get your hands on it and read it, what were you expecting, but also B, what's your kind of take on level par?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. I didn't have anything to expect.
Yeah,
I loved getting a book that was, I think I said this to you, thin.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A 100-page story is kind of something that I aspire to write as well, in some form, maybe not golf related, but I loved the idea of playing one hole and being with the person for one hole of golf and getting the story of his life, caddy's life, and encompassing all of that. And it's funny, we're doing this the Monday after the Shane Lowry disaster. I don't know if you saw what he had to say after his round. He said, the only thing I was excited about was winning in front of my daughter and having her come out onto. And your book kind of speaks to that too, where, man, you watch these guys play golf and they all look like they've just hyper focused. Yeah. And he just let us in on no, he was probably standing on the 16th tee with that 3-iron in his hand, excited in 45 minutes to see his daughter.
Yeah.
And, he said, I didn't get ahead of myself, but I don't necessarily know if I agree that he might have gotten ahead of himself.
Yeah.
So I that part of that kind of idea of the book was very cool, as far as just, I think it's a thing a lot of people who play golf. If you read your book, you realize oh man, I think about a lot of stuff over the course of one hole. Yeah. Let alone the 4.5, 5 hours you're out there for an entire round of golf.
Yeah, when I was kind of formulating the idea, I'm like, well, I don't want to sensationalize it and be he's on the 18th hole of the U.S. Open as a nobody, making it almost like the scene from Caddyshack when Bill Murray's
Cinderella story.
Cinderella story. I don't know where. I'm this is not what I want to create. But also my history from covering mass golf and covering some of these tournaments and meeting some of the players that Matt Parziali was a firefighter, and then he made it to the Masters, and I used to walk with him and his dad and cover their tournaments, and the year that they made it, I called him up and we did a story and had an exclusive for the Herald, so, and those are the kind of really cool stories they have, but these guys aren't in the grind of being a professional golfer, but they want to be. They want to put themselves in those situations. And what's going through your head? And I've played high school golf, and I've played in tournaments and other things like that, but never to the level of, money's on the line or a spot in a tournament's on the line. And so like, how could I like bring that to life and like think about like all the anxieties that I had in my life and all the things that I went through in my life. So it was really, I hope it's like a good depiction of like what you are feeling like when you're in that moment.
Yeah, for sure. And the idea of being in like a small enough setting where you're like, he could pick out people in the crowd, and what it's not like this. It's not tin cup.
No.
On the 18th hole with the three, asking Romeo for extra golf balls.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's like, I've been at U.S. Open qualifying, that the longest day. My wife is from Springfield, Ohio, and they have one there every year.
Yep.
And I went a couple years ago and followed around this kid named Max Maldivin, who was a college player at Ohio State. He's on the Korn Ferry Tour now. And like, he's out there, and the only people watching him are his dad and his girlfriend.
Yep.
And like, he's trying to get into the U.S. Open in his home state to go play the country club. Yeah. Because it was that year. It was 22. And like, that's a whole different kind of energy than the place being lined with people.
Right. You have to figure out how to motivate yourself, but also stay within a moment. I mean, I can't imagine like that kid being on his like basically like home course.
Yeah.
Like, I know every nook and cranny of this place. I should have a leg up on everybody, but there are some pretty good golfers in this field too.
There's pro golfers there. I mean,
yeah.
It's crazy.
And that's what I love about the fact that I did kind of focus more on the local qualifying thing is like, you do see stories like that every single year. You do see, and you see the emotion flooding out of people when they're like, oh my God, I made it. Or just even like guys who make a Monday qualifier, right? Like, Michael Block, like the story of the PGA Championship, all these different things. But I distinctly remember when I was I covered the U.S. Amateur when I was at the country club. Yeah. And I was there every single day. And I remember I followed Fitzpatrick for basically his entire, the entire tournament. Yeah. And I'm looking at this kid, he's like 18.
His brother's on the bag.
He had his brother's on the bag. I met his mother and father, and we were kind of chatting a little bit. And like, he had mismatched clothing because like he didn't have like sponsorship, or like they didn't have a lot of money. But like, this kid was just getting up and down from everywhere at the country club, and I'm like, what is his story? Yeah, that's really freaking interesting. Yeah. And there are a lot of like people like Fitzpatrick who don't become Matt Fitzpatrick. They just kind of have that one moment, and then they're gone. Then they're gone.
Yeah, even USAM winners.
Yes,
that's right. The end. That's kind of the end of their, at least, time in the limelight.
Yeah, I think like when I focus more on like the father-son thing too. I mean, I had my struggles, with that relationship, but also there are, for every Tiger Woods who has like a controlling parent, there are a million not Tiger Woods who can go in different directions. And I mean, you worked with youth and kids for a long time, so like you got to deal with parents too. Like, it can be a very difficult thing to manage as well too. And the expectation, especially the world now, with the NILs and the money that's in golf, like, I don't think people really understand like how little money there is in the lower levels of playing golf. Yeah,
you just have to look like Megan Kang is out in Singapore right now, and she finished like T44, I think, this week. She won $11,000. Yeah. Like, that barely gets you home from Singapore.
I know, right? Yeah. You got to like pay the caddy fee, you got to pay agent fee. Yeah. So she practices out here. Yeah. So she's here quite a bit when she's home, but and her dad does is always here hitting balls. So it's really cool to know that somebody of that caliber came out of a place like this too.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I mean, she's won on the LPGA Tour. It's pretty incredible.
Yep. Yeah. What was it last year? She won, and then she was right in contention again, like the next week, right after that. Or?
She won in 20. I think she won in 23.
Was it 2 years? Was it a couple years ago?
A couple years ago now.
What is
Canadian
time?
Open.
What is time?
It goes by so quick.
No, but this has been great. Like, I think.
Can I ask you one question?
Absolutely.
About your book?
Yeah.
So just the process of writing it.
Yeah.
As someone who's an English.
Sure. It's so I was a writer for 7 years at the Boston Herald, and I think the longest thing that I wrote for the paper was like 2,000 words.
Yeah.
So to go from 2,000 to over 30,000 was like, how the hell do I do this? So I started out by just journaling, and I'm like, I have an idea for a story. I personally started to get a little bit my life situation in a better place through COVID. Like I actually quit golf for like almost 10 years. Like even when I was at the Herald, I would cover it, but I got the yips when I was like 23 around the greens, and I never recovered from it.
Yeah.
And like to the point where when I was I did live in Florida. I tried to get in the PGM program, and I could go out and shoot sub 80 and play fairly well. I was at a point where I couldn't even like break 100, and I was like, this is not fun for me anymore, and I'm just gonna get wasted, and I'm gonna have a good time, and I'm gonna leave golf behind. And that's what so I'd play in like scramble tournaments or like just playing around with the buddies and but never had fun with it.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and there was nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So I started to chip in my living room, and then I started to putt in my living room. And then they opened all the golf courses, and I went and joined Marshfield Country Club where I did my junior golf, and I played like 40 rounds from August to the end of the season that year. And I started to get better at golf, and then I'm like, there's a story in here of a guy who's like coming back, and I used to always be like, it's gonna be around COVID, he's gonna see this like putter that he had that like was this magic putter that he had in the corner, and like he just picks it up and like gets a love back. I'm like, I don't think it's that story. And then I started to kind of like think about, well, there's really not a lot of men's mental health kind of like stories out there. And I'm like, well, what if I started to pivot more towards this? And then it just, as soon as I kind of hit a rhythm with it, then I actually met Tom Kavicki. I started taking lessons with him. I'm like, oh, here's a coach. And then my buddy, Jeff, who actually is kind of like based off of Jonesy, he did have a situation where he almost died a couple of years ago. And I'm like, oh, and I've had two of my friends die in a car accident when I was 18. Another friend of mine was in a major accident at a construction site. I remember being in the hospital room, like looking at him, being like, oh my God, this kid's like ready to die. Like, what is going on? So all of these things started to come to my attention and be like, just write what you know. So I started journaling this character, and I started journaling his story. I'm like, oh, well, let's truncate it to it just on one hole. Like 12 minutes of runtime of a life.
Yeah.
And how do you put it all in that one, how do you kind of go back and forth, and how do I structure it? So it really was like writing it all down in the journal, basically, realizing I had something, and then taking that and putting it on a computer and then creating a second draft. And then I sent it out to the Bradley and Baxter, the publisher, who I had a personal relationship with. I went to elementary school with her. She's written 6 young adult books, and she started her own publishing company here in Plymouth. And so I said, hey, I have this. And they read it, and they were like, we love this. We want to take this on. I'm like, wow.
Cool.
So that was like the whole process of it. But it really was, like, I know that you probably think about doing some kind of creative writing at some point. Like, it was just start building momentum with it.
Yeah.
And whatever comes out of it, like, let it come out of you first.
Yeah.
And then tweak it.
Yep.
Like, feel it, write it, and then do it. And so that was kind of the way that I approached it.
Yeah.
So much different than being a journalist. Because you got to deal with facts, you have to deal with truth. Like, you can't screw that up, or you lose your credibility.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's like there's so much freedom to just do whatever I want.
Make up your own world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was, it's really cool. Like, I never want to give everybody spoilers on it, but like you never know what's going to happen. And so like that's the thing for me is like,
what made you pick that ending? Without spoiling it,
you know what?
I don't want to spoil the ending, but like
it's tough. I believe that Jake's story is the story of the reader. Like, I want you to read Jake's story and be like, this is me in some kind of capacity.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with golf.
Yeah.
Like, golf is the vehicle. But I want you to read it, and I want you to kind of be like, maybe if I just go back and try something and do it.
Yep.
And keep showing up.
Yep.
And stop being afraid of failure and accept failure, that I will appreciate it more.
Yep.
And maybe I don't have to reach my goals, but maybe I can have a better relationship with it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the way that I've been with golf, because I was a junior player that had such a shitty attitude. And like a lot of people would be like, this kid was just a hothead and this and that. And I just didn't have a good time with it. I liked it, but the failing part of it, I was terrible at. And now it's like I go on the golf course and I still like sometimes would just be like, I'm disappointed that I'm not playing well, but I don't get angry.
Yeah.
Or I try not to get angry, and I try not to be like, this is the be all end all. And I just want to have a healthier relationship with it. And because of that, I've actually like, I want to make it everything that I do. And it's a really, really cool and interesting place to be. So, but yeah.
Have you cured your yips? Are you
Yeah, I
yipless?
mean, I there are still times that I have them. Yeah, it was so hard, dude. Like it was just one of those things. But you're like, I'm a good chipper. Like I should be able to do this. And I'd be over a chip doing this.
Yeah.
Like Charles Barkley level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like, that's why I'm here, spending a lot of time on short range. Thank God Harmon has been here to do those things. But yeah, but you were talking kind of like, do you have ideas for maybe doing something more on a creative side, or like as a English major or as a writer?
Yeah, I have a thing I've written multiple times that just kind of like has been really, since I got momentum with Baystate Golf, has been sitting. Like you said, like the momentum of finding, you just have to find the time.
Yeah.
To do it.
You have to be passionate about it too. You have to be passionate, and if Baystate is something that you're passionate about, and it can open doors, like you could almost get it to a point where it's kind of running itself, and then you could maybe focus on other things.
Right.
Like you don't know what it's going to turn into.
Right.
All these golf courses might want you to like be the voice for their narrative of like what they're trying to create. Like maybe they really like what you do, and you're like, oh, I can do a history of your golf course.
Yeah.
And this is what Baystate can kind of become.
Yeah. And
then you could eventually get to the passion thing that you have. But
it's sitting on a hard drive. I've got, it was part of when I left teaching, it was the first thing that I worked on and wrote and like spent waking up in the morning. And I was working part-time for a education company. And so it was kind of like part of my time was writing and part of my time was doing work for them. And I've got a lot. It's like, a lot of it is done. It's just the process of like, all right, now
it's a process of like figuring out. I got to go back and do it.
Good.
And, what was interesting for me was just like, I still think about when I was writing it and how much joy that brought me. Yeah. And the biggest gap when it went from like getting sent to the publisher to wondering if they're going to take on the project was probably about, I don't know, maybe 3 months, maybe 2.5 months, like of not knowing. And I'm like, God damn it, I miss my book. Like I miss working on this thing.
Yeah, because you like your characters.
It was like this is who I was like really, really, I was so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, now it's up to somebody else to be like, this is good and this is not good. And I'm like, but I think it's good. Yeah. And like, if that's enough for me, like if they don't want to take it, then I'll just publish it myself.
Yeah.
But it's nice to have a company that has some backing in the industry on the independent level to say, hey, we're putting our stamp of approval on this book. I could have tried to do the big five, I think is the big five or big six of like publishers, but you need to find a literary agent. Yeah. And like I got shoestring money like putting this thing together. So like, and now it's a full-time thing for me. So I got to figure out how to like make it into something. Yeah. And that's where the content game kind of comes in. So, so I don't know where it's going to go, but I just want to get this thing out to as many people as I possibly can. And I reached out to you because I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm from Massachusetts, and like I kind of fit your narrative of like what you want to cover. So it was like I was so appreciative that you actually reached back out because I know how busy you are and you get so many inquiries. So I appreciate it on a lot of levels. So.
Yeah, I try to respond to everybody, and I'm not flooded with stuff, but like sometimes you just get
you get overwhelmed, man.
I've also in January when I started trying to finish my book, I just put my phone away and I got a brick which just like
it cannot shut down the world.
Yeah, cannot get on social media, and I almost started to treat it like when I'm on there, I'm on there to post something, quickly check in, and then like I'm back,
it's your time to work.
Out. Yeah, because it can just suck. You don't realize how much time it takes.
I feel like I would love to like disappear from social media sometimes, but like it's such an important part of trying to market something and put it out there. But I also find that in using it the way that you and I use it, it's a positive thing.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm sitting there and just like throwing selfies up of myself and doing all these things. Like I'm trying to reach people in a way where I have a story. I'd like to, yes, sell them the book, but I want them to feel something from this book as well too.
Yeah.
So it's a necessary evil.
Yeah, it is.
But it's also like, it can be fun.
Yeah.
Like it can bring you places you never thought you'd be before.
Exactly. It's got to balance the relationship with it.
Yeah. Well, cool. Where can people find everything that you got going on? From your Instagram page to the book, and just like if anyone has a thought about Mass Golf and they should send it to you, where should they go? Yeah,
well, they can go to Baystate_golf is my Instagram. Someone grabbed Baystate Golf a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
They got one post from 2017. It's brutal.
If you're on there, get rid of that.
Give me a call.
Yeah.
And then I've got a YouTube, Baystate Golf, and then my newsletter, baystategolf.beehive.com. And those are kind of like the three hubs of my world.
Nice. Well, when we don't have snow on the ground, you and I will go play around a golf.
Yeah,
we'll
for
find
sure.
a place to do it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.